Yeah, so you kind of see a heaven of moving towards rest. You see a microcosm in Genesis of the reconciliation of the world in Christ. Yeah, it's kind of like a small picture of history's trajectory.
Hello, everybody. This is Jamie Souls. I'm here with the Chinook podcast with Brad Donovan across the table from me and Nathan Zeckveld, also our pastor here in Christ Covenant Church in Grand Prairie. We are the Chinook podcast. We named it thus in order to ask the Lord, as it were, to ask him to move by his Spirit and warm up the frozen hearts of our countrymen here in Western Canada. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a great, deep, lasting Christian revival in this part of the world. And we hope that the things that we have been pursuing, the lines of investigation that we've been doing are tilting in that direction. That's really what our hope is. We want the Lord to move. So we've been doing a whole number of different things, but one of the main thrusts that we've taken is that we are walking our way through the book of Genesis. We intended originally to do a flyover, if y'all remember. No. But our plane wouldn't go any higher than the treetops, and we kept knocking our wings on treetops. And it's hard to do an overview. So we actually did a rather deep dive walking through Genesis. It's our intention to continue this. There's a whole lot of Bible that needs to be talked about, that needs to be opened up for the people of God. I think that's really a good idea.
Yeah, the whole counsel. The
whole thing. Yes.
All right.
So do you have a book you want to review for our folks, Pastor Nathan?
Yeah, I'll start off with a book by Peter J. Lightheart entitled "Blessed Are the Hungry: Meditations on the Lord's Supper." So I've not read through this whole book yet. I've read about 3/4 of the way through it, but basically what I've been doing is I've been reading through it. I've been finding different verses in Scripture that talk about the Lord's Supper. And then on Sundays, when we celebrate the Lord's Supper on a weekly basis, I write a new meditation on one of these verses. And Peter Lightheart has been a big help for me in that. I've done some stuff independent of this book. I've done some things based off of this book. And anyway, I would recommend this for any Christian who's reading about the Lord's Supper, trying to understand what the Bible teaches on it. And I would also recommend it for pastors who are trying to find content for meditations on the Lord's Supper and to teach and lead their congregation in it.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so, I definitely enjoy those homilies. I definitely do.
They're great. Yeah. There's lots of depth and good exegetical content too.
Indeed.
Good stuff in there. The book that I want to recommend today, I think I've probably recommended this before, but it's been a long, long time since I did. Through New Eyes by James Jordan. This book, I remember reading this book, or at least about half of it. I think it would have been 1990.
Yeah.
When I first read through this, I was quite new to the Reformed worldview, to the Reformed faith. I'd latched on to postmillennialism. I'd latched on to covenant theology. But I remember as I read this book, thinking, there's lots of stuff going on here, but I couldn't make head nor tail of it at that time. And so I actually put the book away. 10 years later, I picked it up again, and it made so much more sense 10 years later. What Jordan is interested in doing, it's not a systematic theology, but it is sort of. There's a sense in which it is, because what Jordan is doing is he is expositing the way the Bible speaks.
Yeah.
and he's developing biblical categories, the categories that the Bible speaks in. To give you an example of what I mean, and about a systematic sort of a theology, we might study to discern what is the nature of man, or something like that, where we're dealing with this metaphysical, or this sort of an idea. What is man? What is he about? What is he for? Well, Jordan does that with a bunch of the imagery that rises in the Bible. So he spends lots of time talking about a mountain, or about trees, or about water, or about all these different things that the scriptures, they trade in that kind of idea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting to me that, for all the, we go to the scriptures because we want to be instructed in them, how to function well in our lives. And we get frustrated with those scriptures because they spend, we want to know how to deal with this problem in the church. And God is really interested in showing us 12 chapters on the building of a tabernacle.
Well,
Yeah.
Right?
So much detail.
Just yesterday, my 8-year-old son was reading through Exodus, right, for his homeschool, and just yesterday he was reading through a chapter where the pomegranates and the bells, and all. He's like, What are these things? Right? They're being carved on the ark.
Yeah.
And then the cherubim are described as being wrought in gold. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Are these idols?" And I'm like, "Man, you are asking a good question."
That is a good question.
Yeah, they're not idols because no worship is due them or through them. Mm-hmm. They're representations, of the angelic host defending the holy. They're not. They're not to be worshipped to or through. And he was like, "Oh,
yeah."
oh."
But the fascinating thing is how that's how God communicated to us in the scriptures. He communicated through things that weren't necessarily comfortable to us.
Yep.
And one of the things that is such a genius about this book, Through New Eyes, is that Jordan goes through and he finds a whole bunch of these, and he starts developing those kind of themes, because these are biblical themes.
Yep. And Uri in his latest book that we interviewed him on, that book requires a James Jordan interpretation of Scripture to even exist.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about the garments of the priest and the armor of God that Paul writes about in Ephesians. Mm-hmm. So if you want instructions on what the armor of God is Ephesians, go back and look
don't go look at a Roman soldier. Go look at the high priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I find that that's great.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah. So a whole lot of that sprung out of Jordan's writing, and particularly in this book. Through New Eyes came out in, I think it's
88.
Let's see, 89? Publication was 1988. It was published by Wolgemuth and Hyatt in 1988. It had a different cover than this one.
Yep. That's excellent.
It's a really good book, and it's well worth study and consideration, especially to reorient one's mind according to biblical categories and not just philosophical ones.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, the Theopolis podcast went through.
Yes, they did.
And revisited that book chapter by chapter, and that was a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed listening to that.
I listened to that too.
Yeah.
So there's Brad's recommendation, Theopolis podcast.
Well, actually, I was going to go for something a little more esoteric. Okay, so most men, if I were to say Hayes Manual, most men would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Most men over 30.
Over 30, yeah, because I don't know if they publish them in paper anymore. But you can still buy them in auto parts stores.
Right.
So the Hayes Manual is this great book with instructions and pictures on how to do most fixes to your car.
Right.
So if you owned like a Honda Accord between the years of 91 and 96, you could go buy the Hayes Manual and then you'd read it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing a book review on that. I'm doing a book review on YouTube channels because, you see, YouTube channels have replaced the Hayes Manual.
Yes, they have.
And I find this a delightful thing because I have, 2 vehicles, and I've managed to troubleshoot problems and fixes and such using YouTube. So I would recommend that any man, particularly a young man who's just bought his first car, go and do all the research on whatever vehicle you own or are about to own on YouTube. Use the tools God gave you, because it's great. Like,
Brad, you're preaching to the choir when you're talking to young people. It's us old guys who really need to hear that counsel.
yeah, it's true. I mean, like I have a, I don't know if there's any horsepower junkies out there, but I've got that listen to us anyway. I've got a 2010 Ram 1500 with a 5.7 Hemi, an engine notorious for blowing up lifters and camshafts, which is an expensive fix. But I can do that fix if I need to, because of, I've watched these videos and I've figured it out. But I also discovered that the misfire code I had on my cylinder number 1 the other day was caused by a bad spark plug, which is a much cheaper fix. That's
That's a good thing to find out.
Yes. So I'm just saying, use the tools that God gave you. There are these instruction manuals on YouTube.
Well, I go on YouTube to decide what I'm not going to do. So
yes.
I went on YouTube a while back to see if I could switch my headlight, and it basically involved taking off the whole front bumper. And I was like, I'll just bring it into the shop.
Yeah. No, there's certainly things like that. Yeah. But we live in an age where we drive vehicles, and it's an expensive, potentially expensive thing, but you need it. So learn how to take care of it. Yep.
All right. Well, in Genesis, we have thus far made it to the point where the brothers have come back from Egypt. They've come with the necessity of them having confessed their deeds to their father. Had to have happened around then.
Yep.
Remember Jacob and his suspicion of these brothers. Well, they come back confirming it, but they come with such good news that he can swallow it, right? Because Joseph is alive.
Yes.
And he's not just alive, he's in charge.
He's a bigwig.
I bet you Jacob, having thought about that for just a little while, said, well, of course he's in charge. He's that's his character.
Yeah, and he had those 2 prophetic dreams.
Yeah. And you bet Jacob remembered those dreams too.
Oh, yes. Well, it is in terms of the drama of the story, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got this cathartic release of tension now.
Yeah.
Because we've had this building tension, this back and forth between Joseph and the brothers, going to Egypt, coming back, going back again, Benjamin, Simeon, like, why is he in jail? There's all this stuff.
Joseph has bawled privately, and then he's bawled so publicly that all the Egyptians and all the surrounding courts have heard his wailing voice.
Yeah, he was heard by Pharaoh's servants. So it's just this high drama, and then the brothers go back to Israel, and they say to him, guess what? And it's like, like, you get this adrenaline.
It's like all the weights are thrown off.
Yeah, you get
Jacob.
this.
It says the spirit of their father Jacob revived. In the end of 45, the spirit of their father Jacob revived, and Israel said, "It is enough. Joseph, my son, is alive. I will go and see him before I die."
Yep.
Can you imagine the relief on the brothers as well too? Just carrying that weight around on their shoulders of
they've been guilty men for a long, long time.
Decades.
Yeah.
And guilty in such a way that there's just no way they could talk about it. They couldn't talk about that among themselves, let alone.
Yeah. There's no forgiveness.
Yeah.
There's no forgiveness for that.
Yeah.
And now there's forgiveness.
They met forgiveness down in Egypt.
Yeah. And he was in charge of everything. Yeah, this is a type of Christ.
Yes, it is.
If you're worried that we're way too wild in our typology, well, guess what? Here's another one.
Well, think of the typology here as following the pattern of Philippians 2. He humbled himself and became obedient even to death on the cross.
Right.
At which point he's exalted. Now, of course, Joseph didn't die a death on the cross, but he did.
No, but he was
to be humbled again and again and again until
he was
exalted.
buried in the ground.
He was in a pit.
Yeah,
he was in the pit.
That's right. He was in the pit. Yeah.
Yep.
Lest I go down to the pit.
And the prison
psalmist says.
is kind of like a pit too.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in the pit a couple of
Yeah, and he's been raised from the pit
from Sheol
to the Father's right hand.
Yeah, this sounds
the Pharaoh's right hand.
This sounds an awful lot like some of the Psalms.
Yeah.
It's as if David in the Holy Spirit was reflecting on Joseph and then speaking about Christ.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's just got a rocking good tune.
Yeah, maybe David was reflecting on Joseph as well in some of those Psalms.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So something that we're going to meet in the last few chapters of Genesis. We're going to pick it up at chapter 46 and move from there as Israel and company are coming down into Egypt. There seems to me to be broad thematic things that God is developing in Genesis that inform how we are supposed to look at how the world is going to proceed. Mm-hmm. Okay, because it smells for all the world like Jacob is on his way to heaven. Yeah. Egypt sounds like heaven.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of ways in which that happens. And we'll run across those as we go.
Yeah, so you kind of see a heaven and moving towards rest. You see a microcosm in Genesis of the reconciliation of the world in Christ. Yeah, it's kind of like a small picture of history's trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you also get more of that nasty typology where you've got Israel going down into Egypt, and I will make you a great nation. So in verse 3, or verse 2, God spoke to Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, here I am. Kind of sounds like Samuel, right? Mm-hmm. And then he said, I am the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you a great nation. I myself will go down with you to Egypt, and I will bring you up again, and Joseph's hand shall close your eyes.
Right.
Now, this sounds very similar to when Jesus was born, Matthew 2:13. And the angel goes to Joseph. This is a different Joseph now. Mm-hmm. Joseph, the father, involved in taking Jesus down to Egypt. Mm-hmm. So there's this, and Jesus is the new Israel going down to Egypt and then returning therefrom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're supposed to see that. That's a type. In fact, I'm going to mark that.
Yeah. Okay, so Jacob sets out from Beersheba. Remember, Joseph sent wagons back. It must have been substantial wagons in order to pick up Jacob and his household and company and carry them down to Egypt to make things easy for them so they don't have to carry it all on their backs. He sends them wagons, and that was one of the things that opened Jacob's eyes to say, well, this is really so, right? Yeah. So we get a list in chapter 46 of who it was that comprised the 70 people that wound up descendants of Jacob in Egypt. Verse 27, all the persons of the house of Jacob who came into Egypt were 70. It's interesting looking at that list because some of these people never did go to Egypt.
Yeah.
Those two sons of Judah that died in Canaan, but they're numbered among those 70. Mm-hmm. Why do you suppose that is?
Maybe it's because Perez and Zerah are being treated as the levirate sons of their... in a levirate situation.
That could be.
So they're entering via their son or their adopted sons, even though they're really their brothers, they're half brothers.
Right, but they're also listed.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Those two are listed. Mm-hmm. I think there's. I think God is not giving us these names particularly so that we can fill out our list.
Yeah,
I think there's more that's going on in why is there 70? Why is there 70 people that go down to Egypt? Is that significant? And we look in the scripture and we see, well, yeah, there is significance to this. Think back to Genesis 10.
Yep.
Genesis 10, there were 70 nations in the world that God raised up after the flood. There were 70 of them. Well, here 70 people go down into Egypt with Jacob. But we know that a whole lot more than 70 people went down into Egypt with Jacob. We know that's true because there was a huge company of folk that were attached to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob. There were thousands of people in that camp. And so when they get down into Egypt, the Pharaoh gives them the whole land of Goshen.
Yeah, which is a huge territory.
Which is a substantial area, which you don't give a great big substantial area like that to 70 people. Mm-hmm. Right? You might give an apartment block to 70 people.
Right. But these are substantial territories.
This is, yeah.
Yep. And I think what's going on here is, I think there's a definite connection to Genesis 10, like you said.
Yeah.
And Genesis 10 refers to all the nations of the world coming from Noah.
Yeah.
And there's 70 of those. And so these 70 going down into Egypt with Israel, this is the new world.
It's the new world.
Yeah.
There's a new world thing going on here. The whole world is going down to Egypt.
Yep.
Where there is a savior.
Yeah. They're going down to Egypt where there's a savior, but they're going down in Israel.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting to me. Mm-hmm. Now, some of the names you could definitely use for baby names.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just saying, Nathan. Our wives are both expecting.
There you go.
We've got Huppum, Muppum, and Ard.
Muppum, Huppum, and Ard.
Yeah.
There really needs to be triplets by that name.
Yeah. So anybody that has triplets, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But
Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi.
yeah. So there's, and it's interesting too that Manasseh and Ephraim, who Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, the priest of On, bore him. Those are Joseph's children.
Right.
And they're listed as well, even though they're already there.
I'll also notice Benjamin is the youngest brother, right? By far. Mm-hmm. He's way younger.
Yeah.
It says that Benjamin comes down and he has 10 sons.
Wow.
I think Benjamin's a teenager when he comes down to Egypt.
Yeah, he probably has these sons in Egypt.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there is no time. There's nowhere in a
reasonable world.
Yeah. There's no time to put Benjamin having 10 sons in a timeline that the Bible develops. Mm-hmm. It's got to be after he got there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's why the 70 is because it has to do with the completeness, like the whole world.
Yes.
All the nations of the world represented.
Yes.
And this has to do with that promise to Abraham.
Yes, it does. It does have to do with it. In him, all the families of the earth would be blessed.
Mm-hmm. Now we get to...
so you've got the 12 sons, and then in the New Testament, you have the 12 disciples.
Yeah.
And the 12 sons are representative as patriarchs of the 70 people who went down into Egypt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then we get to verse 28, and this is fun. So Israel sends Judah ahead to show the way.
Yeah.
And then Joseph prepares his chariot and goes up to meet his father Israel his father in Goshen. He presented himself to him and fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. A good while.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's this reconciliation of father and son. There's something going on there too.
Mm-hmm. Lots of weeping.
Yeah, but
and
like
very public weeping.
Very public weeping. Because I can't help but think of the ascension of Jesus at this point.
Yeah.
Having delivered his people.
Yeah.
And then going to meet his father.
Yeah, then going and sitting down at the right hand of his father.
Yes. He goes and he presents himself to his father. This is the second most powerful man in the world, arguably, and he's going to meet someone. That someone is not coming to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're the president of the United States of America, you don't come to meet me.
Yeah, some people come to meet you.
I go to meet. Yeah, exactly. So I think there's definitely a strong link between this scene and the ascension of Christ. And then Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he also talks about what he's going to, he's going to have a conversation with Pharaoh. We're going to get this all squared away.
So before there, when Israel is talking to Joseph, it says, "Now let me die, since I've seen your face and I know that you're still alive." There's this reconciliation of the one who's been given up for dead, or this representing of this one who was, as far as Israel knew, dead, but here he is alive. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a heaven theme, right?
Yep, that's a resurrection theme.
That's a resurrection theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Joseph has this interesting little conversation with his dad. He's like, "I'm going to go talk to Pharaoh, and I'm going to be like, the family showed up, and they're shepherds. And they're shepherds. By the way, they're shepherds.
Yes.
I want you to know, Pharaoh, that they're shepherds. Now, I'm going to tell the Pharaoh that you're shepherds, okay? And then when the Pharaoh talks to you, you're going to say you're shepherds." Like, Joseph really wants to highlight this. I guess Egyptians don't like sheep for some reason back then.
Yeah, there's some kind of weird thing going on with Egypt that they don't like.
They don't-
They
They look
everything
down
about
on
sheep is abominable to them.
Which, I mean, if you've ever had to, feed a sheep or butcher a sheep, I mean, or try to get a sheep back into a pen or something, sheep.
And that's the interesting thing is that within the Hebrew tradition, shepherds and kings are often very closely connected.
Yes.
They become that way.
Yeah, because you've got all your patriarchs are keepers of flocks.
Yeah.
And then you've got guys like David, he's a shepherd. Saul, when we find Saul, he's looking for donkeys.
He's looking for donkeys.
That's right. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not a sheep, but it does have 4 legs and fur. I mean, just saying.
Yeah. Not as much, but
Yeah, the Lord is my shepherd, right? That great Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. Like, that's
Christ is our shepherd king.
our shepherd. Yeah. So
Christ says, "I am the good shepherd."
and he does. Yeah. So you're right. There's this strong association.
Well, yeah, Ezekiel, God says to the wicked shepherds, he says, "I will come and I will rescue my sheep."
Yep. So there's a lot of the sheep talk, but the Egyptians, they're not into sheep.
Yeah. But that was old world Egypt.
Yeah.
Something happened in Egypt with Joseph that made when you read Joseph dealing with the famine, and we'll get into that, or we have gotten into that already. Joseph dealing with the famine in Egypt. Egypt absolutely loves this guy.
Yep.
They love Joseph, and anything that comes with Joseph comes along with him. Oh, we're happy with this. And so the old prejudice against shepherds fell to this welcoming of that which is connected to Joseph.
Yeah. So and if you go to Egypt now, you can eat sheep. They have sheep everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they changed their mind.
Yeah.
3,500 years later.
Maybe they were vegetarians.
Oh,
Okay, never mind.
poor guys. Yeah, vegetables. That's what my food eats. So, chapter 47. So Joseph goes in and tells Pharaoh,
Yes.
they're here, and they are now in the land of Goshen. So he's giving a good update on the situation, and then he takes 5 of his brothers and presents them to the Pharaoh, and they're like, "What is your occupation?" And they're like, "We are shepherds." So they're definitely playing Joseph's little game. Joseph knows what's up. For some reason, this emphasis on shepherds means that they're going to get the land of Goshen because it's the best pasture land, and apparently not thickly settled. So Pharaoh, they say, "Now please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen." So they directly petition the Pharaoh for this, and he confirms this promise. "Settle your father and brothers in the best of the land, and if you know any able men, put them in charge of my livestock." So he immediately, the Pharaoh immediately is like, "Hey, Joseph's done well for me.
Yeah.
One of you probably will too.
Yeah.
I have some flocks.
Yeah.
Send over a manager. I want to hire."
Been faithful in a little, you'd be put in charge of much.
Yeah, I want to hire a faithful manager. Yeah. Like, this is crazy. And then Joseph brings in Jacob. Now it's Jacob, not Israel. He brings in Jacob, his father,
Yeah.
and stands him before Pharaoh. And this is great. Verse
awesome.
7. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh.
Yeah.
In your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Yeah.
The promise is being fulfilled.
It is. Like,
Without a doubt, it says in Hebrews,
yes.
the lesser is blessed by the greater.
Without a doubt, yes. So Pharaoh is being blessed by Jacob.
Yeah.
So Jacob is demonstrating himself to be the greater.
And Pharaoh's taking it.
Yeah. And Pharaoh's taking it happily.
Yes. This, again, when you get to the book of Revelation and you see the kings of the earth bringing their glory into the city of God, yeah, here you go. This is a foretaste.
Yes. Yeah, this is one of those foretaste things. Jacob seems like he's a small fry sheik out in Israel.
Yeah.
But in God's economy, Jacob is chief.
He's the big deal.
He's the king. He's the yeah. And so he comes down into Egypt, and this changed Pharaoh, who no longer regards himself as the top of the hierarchy, submits to this and is blessed by Jacob.
Yep.
Jacob comes in and blesses him.
And then Pharaoh, he does what you should do to every old man. How many are the days of your life?
How old are you?
If you ask, here's the thing: if you ask like a mid-40s lady her age, she gets insulted.
Right.
But if you ask an old man what his age is, he's
Yeah.
That's a badge of honor.
Yeah, his eyes light up. I've done this. Yeah. How old are you? Well, I'm over 90. It's like, what? So then Jacob, the days of the years of my that's very poetic, by the way, I think. The days of the years of my sojourning are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days and the years of my life, and they have not attained to the days and the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their sojourning. So it's a very interesting.
Yeah.
And then he blesses Pharaoh again.
Yeah.
And then he goes out from the presence of Pharaoh.
Yes.
And then
now,
settles.
this passage where Jacob tells Pharaoh that he's 130 years old, that is the peg. That is the most important peg, I think, that we can use to help figure out the timeline that's gone before.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been returning to this watermark routinely.
Yeah, we've come here a number of times because we have a comparison that we can use, because Joseph is either 39 or 40 years old at this time. Okay? And if we got both of those, then we've got 2 generations to work with, and we can start figuring out scheduling and
Yes.
and yeah.
And another
Calendar.
note, if you're 39 or 40 and not the second most powerful man in Egypt, what are you doing with your life?
That's a good point.
I think I need to reread Jordan Peterson.
Oh, well, we should actually get Jordan Peterson to listen to our podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay, so
discussion for another day.
they come into
I'll just give him a
Egypt.
phone call.
Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded. Okay, so in the land of Ramesses, that's where Goshen is, somewhere in there.
Yep. We're not entirely sure about the provincial divisions of Egypt at
Right.
the time, but it's in there.
Okay, now beginning in verse 13, we start to get the information on how Joseph dealt with Egypt. Some folk will read this as a communist revival. They'll read this and they'll say, look, socialism.
Right.
And look, they're cheering. Look, see?
Yeah, and this is something C.R. Wiley has actually talked about. I've seen him talking about it online, is that apparently there's a whole Jewish tradition which actually criticizes Joseph for his use of socialistic means to deal with the the crisis.
Well, I don't know if it's socialistic as much as it's inflationary. I mean, come on, people. But I've also seen criticisms of Joseph here because the people sell all their stuff and then they wind up selling themselves in exchange labor for food, basically.
Yeah.
Because they had nothing left to sell. And basically, by the end of the reign of this Pharaoh, the Pharaoh owns
Everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
Now, I've
Except
seen
the priests.
Except for the priests. I've seen this criticism being leveled. But honestly, I'm looking at this, and the famine was very severe.
He did save a lot of lives through those means.
Yes, he did.
He did.
And we are big in our circle on sphere sovereignty, right? We see this as something that is it's important. We need to run along the lines that God gave us, and not along somebody else's lines. Okay, this doesn't look like sphere sovereignty, because it looks like the state taking over everything.
Yeah. I mean, they're purchasing everybody,
Right.
but there's and all the means of production, because you notice that they exchanged their livestock in verse 17.
Yeah.
They exchanged their livestock, their horses, flocks, herds, the donkeys.
First thing was money.
Yep, and then it was
livestock.
Yeah, and then it was
Then it was land.
land.
And then it was selves.
Yeah, and so the labor agreement was that a fifth of the produce of the land, except for the lands owned by the temples,
Right.
would a fifth would be paid off to Pharaoh, payment in kind. So that's 1/5 taxation, right? So that's the deal they come to, and I look at that and I'm like, man, that's a lot. But then I look at my income tax bill, and I'm like,
You
you know,
say,
what? I
"No,
would
that's a
take
little."
I would take a fifth and be happy with it over what I'm currently paying.
Yeah.
Because I'm paying almost half,
Yeah.
like just shy of half. I would take a fifth,
Yeah.
and be happy.
You would plead the fifth.
I would plead the fifth. Please take only a fifth. So if you're going to complain that Joseph enslaved Egypt, he enslaved them to a far more comfortable standard than you currently live under.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I would take that.
Right.
That right there, 100%.
Now, there's other things that are going on in this also. It's not just economic transactions that are going on here. Because God is in the business of painting pictures for us of things to come through these patriarchs and through the things that they do, I think we'll be able to see that there's other considerations. Joseph is where? He's in Egypt, right? He's in Egypt. Egypt is one of the many nations that God is really interested in winning back. Okay, they're one of the scattered nations of the
Yes.
world,
Yeah.
and God is interested not just in Israel. God is interested in His gospel going to the nations and bringing them in. Okay, and there are ways to read this that enable us, I think, to see some of what's going on when God gets a hold of you. God gets a hold of you and turns you from darkness to light, and He calls you into His kingdom, and He calls you into His people, and you become a part of His church. What does God want of you? Like, what does He want of you with regards to your life? Does he say, okay, you're in, so yeah, you don't really have to deal with me the rest of the time? Well, no, He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. He calls us into relationship with Him, right? And that relationship is one where He is the sovereign, and we are the happy and willing volunteers in the day of His power. We are the subjects of this. And so God calls us to serve Him with our money. That's the first thing that Joseph requires of the Egyptians.
It's true.
God calls us to serve him with the labors of our hands, with our livestock, with our labor. He calls us to serve him with these things. He calls us to serve him with our land, with our property. Mm-hmm. He calls us to serve him with our bodies. Your body is a temple. Your body is a living sacrifice to God. Those are the four things that Joseph got from the people of Egypt, and they all said afterward, and none of them said, "Oh, what an oppressor."
Yeah.
None of them said that. They all said, "You have saved our lives."
They were not groaning under a yoke.
No, the yoke that they were groaning under was starvation, not Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
So so I'm thinking along the lines of slavery. So we're bondservants to Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting here in chapter 47 is they become slaves to the Pharaoh in a sense of the word, but ultimately it's a blessing because God has blessed the Pharaoh. But as time goes on, the Pharaoh eventually says, "You're my slaves."
Yes.
And that's
this is a converted Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Here.
That's right. But in the future, there's the Pharaoh says, "You're my slaves." And so he imposes a crushing yoke of tyranny on them.
Right.
And God says, "No, they're my slaves." And so he pulls them out of Egypt, brings them to Mount Sinai. On Mount Sinai, he says, "Hey, look, I've brought you out of slavery, but I've brought you out of slavery to be my slaves." Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a great number of the people that came out with Moses are Egyptians. Mm-hmm. A whole pile.
Yeah,
of
lots of them. There's a mixed multitude that followed Israel out of Egypt. So when they're numbered in the beginning of the book of Numbers as like 603,000 men, it says, besides women and children, and there was a mixed multitude.
Yeah.
And who knows how large that mixed multitude. It was big.
There's a lot of folks.
You can bet it was big. There was an awful lot of Egypt that came washing out of.
Yeah.
A lot of Egyptians came washing out of Egypt along with the Israelites.
I mean, I would in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt.
Yeah. Toss off these gods that can't withstand and follow the real one.
And another thing I want to think about in light of this chapter 47, is what, and we'll get to this more yet, but what Joseph says later in Genesis 50, verse 20, "As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today." Mm-hmm. So basically, Joseph in this passage is God's tool in God's good providence and God's care in order to keep not only the Israelites alive, but also to keep
the whole world,
Egypt alive.
And the whole world came to Egypt for grain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think you also see in this passage that whole thing of the Israelites becoming slaves to the Pharaoh. God is also setting the groundwork in his good providence for bringing his people out of Egypt again, as it will turn into a crushing yoke of slavery.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, there's another point that I think bears mentioning is that this verse 25, where we're talking about the people have gone to Pharaoh and they said, "You have saved our lives. May it please my Lord, we will be servants to the Pharaoh." Mm-hmm. This to me sounds very much like Psalm 110:3. Your people will offer themselves freely on the day of your power in holy garments. From the womb of the morning, the dew of your youth will be yours. So again, that's Christological. That's pointing forward to Christ.
Yes.
But here is an example of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll happily say that I'm a slave of Christ.
Yeah. I mean, it was good enough for Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
So what about then someone who thinks Joseph was being a bad guy in this? What about him selling back to the Egyptians their grain? Mm-hmm. I've heard that leveled as a criticism against Joseph because that's like double dipping. You know,
you bought and then you sold.
Well, but it's also a failure to understand the nature of that transaction.
Yeah.
When Joseph buys grain from an Egyptian, He's not renting grain from that Egyptian. He's buying it.
Yep. And he's selling it afterwards.
And he resells it afterwards as his property.
Yeah.
To do.
Which is a legal transaction.
That's a legal transaction.
Yep. It's not like he's not. It's not like he's speculating on a futures delivery insurance contract using borrowed money,
right,
that he's then reinsured and issued a bond for, and then put together in a basket with other bonds to try and hide the fact that this is a junk bond, and then somebody defaults on it and the whole system collapses in 2008. I mean, that's not what's happening here, people.
That's not what's happening there.
So, calm down.
So what I think is happening here is, providentially, what this system turns into a system of slavery as history goes on.
Yeah.
But what you see here is nothing similar to the current socialist system that we live under. But it's also not. We're not deriving principles from economics from this passage for any time in history.
Yeah, I don't think we should.
What Joseph is doing is he's dealing with a very unique time in history of a great famine that would have killed everybody off. And also what you see happening here is God in his good providence guiding history for his own purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I don't think we can derive an economic system from what we see here.
No, I agree with you. I mean, there are, there are some lamentable things. I mean, selling your means of production, selling your land to the government, that's lamentable.
Yeah, it is lamentable.
But it was sold.
Yeah.
In exchange for grain.
And it wasn't taken by the government.
And that's another thing too, is that these people, they volunteered it. They were like, hey, we have money. We've got animals. Now we've got land. Like, you can't eat dirt. You can eat a potato, but you cannot eat dirt. Right? So, yeah, it's lamentable, but there's not an economic principle here. I mean, if you look at Marxist doctrine, it has no correspondence to this.
No.
So I wouldn't
agree.
I wouldn't get too wound out about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. Where have we seen that number before? Anywhere?
Well, it's one more than 18.
We've seen 17 years once before that I'm aware of.
And who was 17 years old?
Joseph was 17 years old when he was carried off to Egypt.
There.
I don't know what the significance of that is, but it's interesting when you see a number repeated like that.
Yep. Yeah, Joseph spent 17 years in his father's house, and now his father will spend 17 years in his.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, sort of. That's
Interesting.
kind of cool. There's things to develop along there.
Yeah, I'm
looking after your parents.
Yeah, you should look after your parents. But we'll try desperately to develop Marxism from that. So now, verse 29. When the time drew near that Israel must die, he called his son Joseph and said to him. So now he's getting Joseph to swear an oath. Do not bury me in Egypt, but let me lie with my fathers. Carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burying place. And Joseph was like, yep, I'll do that. And so he says, swear to me. And he swore to him. And then Israel bowed himself upon the head of his bed. So then after this, Joseph was told, behold, your father is ill. So now he's gotten sicker.
Yeah, he's on a downward.
Yeah. So he takes his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. So Israel summons his strength just to sit up. Like he is just about to die.
Yeah.
He is old and just about to
Getting
die.
pretty weak.
Yeah. So he sits up and then he speaks to Joseph. And he gives him basically a theology lesson. God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me and said to me, behold, I will make you fruitful and multiply you, and I will make you a company of peoples, and I will give this land to your offspring after you for an everlasting possession. And now your two sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine, as Reuben and Simeon are. So he's adopting these two boys on his deathbed. That's very interesting.
He does. He does adopt them there as his own.
Now, God says the same thing about Ephraim and Manasseh in a psalm. Which one was that? Ephraim is mine, Manasseh is mine.
Psalm 60.
60. Yeah.
Psalm 60 says that.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. That's the one where God throws his shoes over
He throws
Philistia,
his shoes over Philistia.
which is a marvelous image.
Yeah.
I love it. And singing that is a lot of fun.
Over Philistia, I cast my shoe.
Yes. Over Edom I cast my shoe.
Edom, I cast my shoe.
Over Philistia I shout in triumph.
That's it.
Yeah, here, verse 7.
Yeah.
Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim is my helmet, Judah is my scepter. Once again, the rule is with Judah.
Yes.
Moab is my wash basin. Upon Edom I cast my shoe. Over Philistia
He's the mat
I
by
shout
the
in triumph.
door. Edom.
Edom the doormat. I can just imagine.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to think about that if I ever preach on Psalm 60.
Yeah. It's there's something there.
Okay.
So he adopts the boys.
He adopts these boys. These boys are grown men. Mm-hmm. You know that?
Yeah.
They're not just boys. They're not Joseph bringing his 8 and 10-year-old because they were born before the days of famine.
Yep.
God gave him 2 sons before the days of the famine. It says that somewhere in one of these texts.
Yeah. And so there's been 17 years since Israel's come down to Egypt, plus at least 2 more years.
Yeah,
So
2 and 4 more years. So they're 20-ish, 19, 21, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these 2 are given the exact same privileges then as all the sons of Jacob. Just in order to give Joseph what he really deserves, he gives him 2 shares in Israel.
Yes.
It's the double portion.
Yeah,
Which is just, marvelous.
yeah.
And the
Yeah, it's
children,
great.
and here's an interesting verse 6. Clearly, Joseph has other children than these 2 boys, because Israel says, "And the children that you fathered after them shall be yours. They shall be."
Does he say that past tense?
Yeah, that you fathered. There are other children, but they're counted by the name of their brothers in their inheritance.
Yes.
So they will inherit under these 2 brothers.
Right.
Very
Okay, I never saw that past tense word there, fathered. I never saw
Yeah,
that
it's in
before.
verse 6.
Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah. And then Israel sees Joseph's sons.
Yeah.
And he's like, who are these?
I don't think it's just because he was old and blind. I think there's something ceremonial going on here.
Yeah, It's like when you have a wedding ceremony and the father of the bride hands the bride off.
Yeah, and someone
gives
says,
this woman?
who gives this woman?
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows who gives this woman.
Yes, but this man now must
Yes,
give that
right.
woman. Yeah. So, whose are these? Joseph said to his father, "These are my sons whom God has given me here." And they said, "Bring them to me, please, that I may bless them." Now, the eyes of Israel were dim with age, so he is going blind. He can't see. So Joseph brought them near. He kissed them and embraced them. And then Israel said to Joseph, "I never expected to see your face." It's interesting he says see because he can't see.
But he could.
He
earlier.
could. Yeah, he could. And behold, God has let me see your offspring also. Then Joseph removed them from his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth.
Joseph removed them from his knees. That doesn't sound like...
Yeah, that's what makes us think they're little kids.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But
Makes me wonder if Jacob was a giant.
no, I think there's something ceremonial going here.
I've wondered that a couple of times about Jacob because remember at Bethel where he sets up this stone as a pillar that he used for a pillow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What if I am getting a rock for a pillow? That rock is about that high. It's
Well, the size of a loaf of bread.
You're not going to be able to set that up as a pillar.
Well, I mean, if he just if he just put his head on one end of the pillar, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's where we get pillow. It was from pillar, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
Anyways, several lines of inquiry
English has not been around that long.
I wonder if Jacob was actually very, very large.
He did wrestle all night.
Yep.
So Joseph takes them both with Ephraim on his right hand towards Israel's left and Manasseh with his left towards Israel's right and brought them near to him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it on the head of Ephraim, who was younger, and his left on the head of Manasseh. He crossed his hands. Now,
That's interesting.
in this adoption ceremony, most commentators that I've read state clearly that the crossing of his hands is a representation or a symbol of the cross. Most guys I've read just say that every time.
I can see it.
They're like, and this is the cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems a little arbitrary to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I like it, but yeah, it could be arbitrary. But why would he give the right hand blessing to the younger? Well, we've seen that before.
Yes, we have. This is a deep theme all the way running through Genesis.
And remember when Isaac got it wrong,
Yeah.
Abraham appeared to have gotten it wrong. Isaac definitely got that wrong.
Yeah.
Israel here has not got this wrong.
He's not getting this wrong.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's still blessing both of them.
He is.
Which is interesting. It's not just the younger or the older, both.
It's both. Yeah, but there is a very particular
Crossing
of his arms
Yeah.
for the sake of the younger brother being elevated, Ephraim, over Manasseh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting too in later history as you read through the Samuel and Kings and all through there, the northern kingdom winds up being named Ephraim.
Yep,
Like
Ephraim.
that's what people call it.
Yep.
That's what the prophets call it.
Yeah.
That's the northern kingdom.
And in the book of Judges, they are...
The south is Judah, the north is Ephraim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the book of Judges, Ephraim is one of the principal players in the book because they have, the second most men.
Yeah.
Or third most men. Third most.
So that,
Yeah, so he was not going to make the same mistake his father made. Mm-hmm. And I think this is great.
Even in his blindness, his father was blind.
Yeah, his father was.
At that time.
And you can see Joseph being like, wow, Dad, you got that backwards. And Jacob's like, no, no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah, so there you already see, so verses 17 to 20, that's specifically where Joseph and his father interact over that.
Right.
Yeah, he says, I know, my son, I know.
By you, Israel will pronounce blessings, saying, God make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. Mm-hmm. Thus he put Ephraim before Manasseh.
Yes. And it's interesting, too, because this adoption thing, I mean, in the New Testament, if you're talking about adoption, you're probably going to be looking at Romans 8, I think. So that's I think, a place where you should go when looking at this. I mean,
adoption as a practice. Mm-hmm. How God adopts us, as it were, into his family. And he uses that language of it.
Yep. Yeah, he says that we have received the spirit of adoption as sons, by whom we cry, Abba, Father.
Right.
And that's Romans 8:15.
Yes.
Yep.
So we're brought into the family. We're given the inheritance with the family when we're adopted.
Yep. No, this is great. This is very, very much a New Testament look forward. So then he says to Joseph, "Behold, I'm about to die." This is verse 21. But God will be with you and will bring you again to the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to you, rather than to your brothers, one mountain slope that I took from the hand of the Amorites with my sword and with my bow. Is that Shechem? That's the question I have. Is he referring to Shechem in chapter 34? Because Shechem is on the mountain slope of Gerizim.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I don't know. Someone might be able to track that out. I don't know. I don't know quite what keys you'd need to turn in order to find it.
So,
and that's part of the tribal allotment of Ephraim later.
I'm just looking at cross references in my online ESV Bible, and Joshua 24 verse 32 reads, "As for the bones of Joseph, which the people of Israel brought up from Egypt, they buried them at Shechem, in the piece of land that Jacob bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem." Yeah. So Jacob bought it from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of money. It became an inheritance of the descendants of Joseph.
Yep.
So,
well, there we are. So it really was Shechem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here he says he took it from the hand of the Amorites with his sword and with his bow. Yep. Interesting. So now, having blessed Joseph via Ephraim and Manasseh, he then calls his sons together. Gather yourselves together.
49.
Chapter 49.
49. There's all kinds of cool things in here.
Yes. Let's plow.
Should we do this in our next episode, or should we just do it now? Because we are at an hour already.
No, let's do it now.
Let's do it now.
Okay, let's whack away at it.
Let's roll on.
Let's roll on. Carry on.
Okay, so Jacob calls his sons together and said, "Gather yourselves together that I may tell you what shall happen to you in days to come." So there's a prophetic thing going on here.
Yes.
Okay? Assemble and listen. It's all in poetry. Assemble and listen, O sons of Jacob. Listen to Israel, your father. Reuben. You are my firstborn, my might, and the first fruits of my strength, preeminent in dignity and preeminent in power, unstable as water.
Ooh, ouch.
You shall not have preeminence. Because you went up to your father's bed, then you defiled it. And then he looks around at everybody else and says, he went up to my couch.
So he's talking about that incident in chapter...
Yes. Where Reuben sleeps with Bilhah.
Yes. So he's...
Seduces her.
He's got no control of his sexual appetite. Yes.
So in these blessings, he's basically giving his sons a rebuke for their various weaknesses and sins.
It seems like, especially the first three, he does.
Yeah.
The first three, very much so.
I find the opening, assemble and listen, O sons of Jacob, listen to Israel your father. This reminds me of Proverbs 1, verse 8.
Yeah.
Hear my son, your father's instruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very similar kind of a thing. But
Okay, so Reuben, who has shown himself to not be wise, to not be sensible,
he doesn't have self-control.
lacks self-control,
It's a
lacks
culmination.
gravitas.
Yeah.
This is a culmination of a lot of the weaknesses we've seen in Reuben thus far.
Yeah, but it's very interesting though that Jacob speaks this way about Reuben, the man standing in front of him, but it becomes characteristic of the tribe later.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then Simeon and Levi are brothers.
Yes, these two come together.
Yeah.
Weapons of violence are their swords. Let my soul come not into their counsel. O my glory, be not joined to their company, for in their anger they killed men, and in their willfulness they hamstrung oxen. Cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
Divide them and scatter. Divide and scatter. That's what he's going to do to Simeon and Levi, these violent, angry men.
Now what happens later? Because Phineas, in a moment of anger and violence, runs into the camp, spears two adulterers through, and then God makes a covenant of peace with Phineas.
Yes, and notice that it was a chief of Simeon that he did that to.
It was a Simeonite.
Yeah.
So in a way, by violence, he's putting an end to the wickedness of
Yes.
Well, and how was
of the
Levi
fathers.
called?
Yes, because something happens later on with regards to Levi.
Yeah.
Levi gets redeemed
Yep.
in this. Simeon eventually gets absorbed into the tribe of Judah.
Yeah, I argued in a sermon that the blessing finally came to Simeon via Judah in Judges.
Yeah.
But blessing comes, but they scattered in Israel.
Yeah.
But Levi, they attain their blessing because Moses goes to the gate of the camp, and he's like, "Hey,
who's on my side?" And all the Levites come to him, and they strap on their swords and they go kill the Israelites who've been bowing down to this golden calf.
Yeah, and then
God looks at this and says, "Oh, that's great, Levi. I'm making a deal with you."
yeah, but they're still scattered, right? You look at the Levitical cities.
Yeah,
You look at
the cities are scattered throughout
they're
Israel.
all cities, the cities of refuge. So this is what happens. And it's interesting. He talks about we've discussed killing men. So Phineas and the Levitical response to Moses' call. But also, he says in their willfulness, they hamstrung oxen. What is one of the things a priest does? He chops animals up.
Yes, he does. He chops animals up.
That's what a priest does. That's his
yes.
job. He chops up and he makes this nice barbecue for God.
So the Lord takes this curse, cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and turns it into a priestly blessing. It still happens.
Yes.
Levi is scattered among Israel, but Levi is now scattered among Israel in sort of a pastoral role.
Yes.
He's the guy who's supposed to be teaching the people in the villages.
Yeah. And Simeon is scattered in Israel by being scattered in Judah.
Yeah.
And Judah is the king tribe.
Yeah.
So Simeon inherits a portion in that rule,
Yeah.
which I find very interesting.
Yeah.
What they get is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's redemption.
There is, yeah. And then we get to Judah.
Judah, your brothers shall praise
Quite
you.
a bit on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your hand shall be on the neck of your enemies. This should sound like Psalm 110.
Yeah.
Your father's son shall bow down before you. That sounds a lot like Joseph's dream.
Joseph dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now here it's given to Judah.
Yeah, which is really interesting.
Judah is a lion's cub. So the lion is associated with the tribe of Judah here for the first time. From the prey, my son, you have gone up. This sounds like Samson, though he was a Danite.
Yeah.
He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as a lioness, who dares rouse him? There's something about Judah.
Yeah.
Well, his act of courage, I think, in going back to Joseph and taking the responsibility on himself bestows on him that kind of authority and rule.
Yes.
I think it does.
Now, if Reuben is disqualified from rule, and if Simeon is disqualified from rule, and Levi is disqualified from rule, who's next?
Judah.
Judah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going down the line.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
The scepter shall not depart from Judah. So
It goes to
again,
Jesus.
It goes to Jesus, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet. So, I mean, if you're sitting on your throne and you've got a staff, you'd have the one end of it between your feet, you know, until tribute comes to him, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds great, doesn't it?
all the nations of the earth
Yes.
coming to give their obedience to King Jesus.
Yeah. A lot of Isaiah sounds like this. Binding his foal to the vine and his donkey's
Yeah.
colt to the choice vine. Now, that should sound like Zechariah 9:9 and Matthew 21.
Yes, it should, because Jesus coming into Jerusalem on the colt of a donkey, you particularly look for a colt,
Yes.
not a donkey.
Yes.
A colt of a donkey.
And he has washed his garments in wine and his vestiture in the blood of grapes.
Yeah, that's Isaiah 63.
Yep. I mean, and
Who is this coming up from Bozrah?
yes.
His garments all stained red.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can start to see his eyes are darker than wine and his teeth whiter than milk. I mean, he's the king. But this blood and wine image, I mean, Jesus is playing with these same images when he's speaking to the disciples about his own death.
Yeah.
In John 5, talking about unless you drink my blood and eat my flesh, you have no life in you. Like I will not drink of this blood or this wine until I do so again in my Father's kingdom. Right? These images go right into the New Testament about Jesus.
And when you see Christ standing in the heavens in Revelation 1, it has this imagery of a ruler.
Yeah.
Again. So
Yeah. So this is marvelous. If you wanna find stuff about Jesus in the Old Testament,
Yeah.
start here and then just follow the strings.
Yeah, there's lots of it.
There is. And now we get to Zebulun.
Zebulun
Zebulun.
shall dwell at the shore of the sea. He shall become a haven for ships, and his border shall be at Sidon. There's not a whole lot said about some of these younger sons.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
There's something said, but not much.
He's sailing. The sea is often associated with the Gentile nations.
So the tribe of Zebulun was, I'm assuming, planted right along the Mediterranean.
Yep.
Yeah, probably so.
Especially if he's bordering Sidon.
Zebulun shows up in Judges,
Yep.
the tribe of Zebulun, with Deborah.
It does.
I think wasn't Barak from there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
And they had a bunch of officers.
And that fight that they got into in Judges 4 and 5, well, it's in 4, but that was in the northern parts of Israel.
Right.
So it makes sense that Zebulun was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Issachar is a strong donkey crouching between the sheepfolds. Now, we often, when we call a guy a donkey, we mean he's kind of stupid and loud. Yeah, but this is a little different. He's crouching between the sheepfolds. He saw that a resting place was good and that the land was pleasant, so he bowed his shoulder to bear and became a servant at forced labor. So, again, it's a little bit, there's some good stuff. He's got good land.
It seems like a downward trend.
Yeah.
Forced labor.
Yeah,
it
it's
seems
good land, but forced labor. I don't know. It's weird. Dan. Now, Dan is an interesting one. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. So there's Dan is involved in rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Samson is from Dan.
Specifically as a
Dan.
judge.
Yeah. Dan shall be a serpent in the way, a viper by the path that bites the horse's heel so that the rider falls backwards. I wait for your salvation, O Lord. So there's a couple of things here. Dan in Samson does a significant amount of damage to the Philistines.
Yeah.
A significant amount.
Sneak attacks too.
Sneak attacks, yeah. Like a
like
viper.
a snake by the path.
Yeah. And the horse, the Philistines had chariots, right? Horses were a thing that they were known for.
So when Jesus says, be sly as serpents and gentle as doves, he's saying, be a bit like Dan.
Yeah. Be a bit like Dan. Be a bit like Samson. He's wily. Like Samson is the first judge that we see that really makes schemes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a little bit of scheme with Ehud, but not a lot of scheme.
Right.
We've got a lot of stratagems. Yeah. I mean,
with Samson.
he's catching foxes and tying them tail to tail. That takes a lot of work. He's got riddles. He's
like an Egyptian sphinx.
Yeah, he's like a sphinx. He's got these riddles for the wise. And then
and he's dealing with the Philistines who came from
Egypt.
Yeah. Yes, that's where they came from.
Yeah, they're an
in
Egyptian-ish.
Genesis 10. There's a connection between Egypt and Philistia.
Yep. So he's very very viper like, very wily. Now, then, verse 19, we get to Gad. Raiders shall raid Gad, but he shall raid at their heels. This sounds like a lot of raiding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much that shows up later about Gad.
They would have been involved in the book of Judges with
Zebulun, I think, alongside.
And I think they probably would have been involved with Jephthah because he was raiding.
Yeah.
But
I don't know any particular guys from the tribe of Gad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, 1 Chronicles 5:18, the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh had valiant men who carried shield and sword and drew the bow, expert in war. 44,760 able to go to war. They waged war against the Hagrites, Jetur, Naphish, and Nodab. And when they prevailed over them, the Hagrites and all who were with them were given into their hands, for they cried out to God in the battle, and he granted their urgent plea because they trusted in him. And then they carry off a whole bunch of livestock.
Yep.
Right.
So they do
And
raid.
their war was of God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're successful raiders.
Okay, so we've got Asher, who's a baker.
Farmland.
Or it seems that way.
Yeah.
He shall yield royal delicacies.
Yeah. I wonder what that would be.
Yeah.
I like delicacies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There are the Proverbs talk about delicacies and about being careful in whose presence you eat them and whose you eat.
Yep. Yeah, maybe they invented apple pie.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you got American and apple pie. Maybe you got Asher and apple pie. I don't know.
Yeah, so Moses blesses Asher in Deuteronomy 33, verse 24. And of Asher, he said, most blessed be the sons of Asher. Let him be the favorite of his brothers, and let him dip his foot in oil. Your bars shall be iron and bronze, and as your days, so shall be your strength. So he's kind of like the inventor.
Interesting. Interesting. And then Naphtali reminds me of Song of Solomon. Just saying.
Yeah.
A doe let loose that bears fruitful fawns.
Beautiful fawns.
Yeah, or beautiful fawns. Yeah. So she's a deer, or he is a deer.
He's a dear fellow.
A deer fellow. So there's something there. Naphtali is you got beautiful fawns, lovely kids.
Yeah, I don't know. Naphtali
Naphtali shows
is
up
the
later.
way of the sea.
Yep.
Naphtali, upon those dwelling in deep darkness, a light has shone. Naphtali is mentioned in that list.
Yeah. Naphtali, I believe they also show up in Judges. But I cannot remember the context at the moment.
Okay, well, let's move along. Let's find Joseph.
Yes, fine, Joseph.
Joseph is a fruitful bough. A fruitful bough by a spring. His branches run over the wall. The archers bitterly attacked him, shot at him, and harassed him severely. Yet his bow remained unmoved. His arms were made agile by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. And so there's a whole bunch of blessing that Jacob blesses on the head of Joseph. On the brow of him who was set apart from his brothers. So Joseph was really was a towering character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, there's some intriguing possibilities that I remember learning about when I was watching Timothy Mahoney's Patterns of Evidence videos.
Yeah.
When they were talking about the Hebrew language and who developed it. Mm-hmm. And Joseph was one of his likely characters who developed the Hebrew language and wrote it down, turned it into a written language. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's true.
That could be.
He does seem like the kind of character who could have.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know that Moses wrote a lot, but maybe he didn't have to invent the writing system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, the whole thing is very, very interesting. The archers bitterly attacked him. Like, that's like, yeah, your brothers. Mm-hmm. But remember, the blessings are being counted for Joseph through Ephraim and Manasseh.
Yes.
So we're actually talking about Ephraim and Manasseh, in a sense.
Yeah.
And he talks about blessings of the breast and of the womb. So we're talking about children.
Yeah.
Well, here you keep on seeing that language of shepherd too.
Yeah.
So 24 from there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Just in the last chapter, when Jacob blesses Joseph in chapter 48, he says, "The God who has been my shepherd all my life, long to this day." So that theme of shepherd does keep on coming up too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Benjamin.
Benjamin the wolf.
A ravenous wolf.
A
hungry wolf.
In the morning devouring the prey, and at evening dividing the spoil.
Saul was from Benjamin.
He was. Who else was from Benjamin?
The Apostle Paul was from
Apostle
Benjamin.
Paul.
Yes.
And Benjamin, however, they after, like in the judges period, they run into some significant difficulties.
Mm-hmm. And the Lord has to teach them how to find a wife.
Yes, where they do the Sodom thing.
They do the Sodom thing. Mm-hmm. Don't do the Sodom thing.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, this is the lesson for the 21st century Canadian church. If you do the Sodom thing, things like what happened to Sodom and Benjamin happen. Yeah, that's a very difficult story in Judges.
Yeah.
And it happens fairly early in the book.
It does. It's pretty early.
Phineas is still alive for that.
Yeah.
He's an old man.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that settles the disputes.
Yeah, and Moses' grandson is in the middle of it.
Yeah.
In not a good way.
In not a good way. So there's a that happens very early. So by the time Saul comes along, the tribe has been rebuilt.
Yeah.
So that they are a tribe. And then he spends his entire kingship in hard warfare. There's hard fighting with the Philistines all the days of Saul.
All the days of Saul.
Yeah. And
then David, and sometimes I do. So I think that's a question is, should Israel have picked somebody from the tribe of Benjamin, or were they supposed to pick someone from the tribe of Judah to rule them?
I think that
there was that first and second thing going on there again.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. The first not being satisfactory, and the second being the one that God desired.
Yeah.
I think there's something of that nature going on, and so maybe they pick one from Benjamin because he looks like the right kind of guy. He's a head taller than everybody else, and
And he can find donkeys with the prophet's help.
The whole arising of the kingship initially was based on impatience, as you see in First Samuel 8, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. And so the first go at it fails
Yeah.
Because they didn't do it in God's timing.
because they didn't do it in God's timing. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but there's also that first and second thing. So we were supposed to understand from that, for example, that Christ is the second Adam.
Yeah.
Because the first one was made good, but he sinned.
Yeah.
Saul was made good, but he sinned. Right. So there's that's going on there too. And then you get Paul. He's an apostle born out of time.
Yes.
And he devours.
And he can still trace his lineage back to Benjamin.
Yeah. And he devours the church, and then he builds the church.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dividing the spoil, as it were.
Yeah, very good.
So then
so Jacob's death and burial takes place in the end of 49. He gives instructions about being buried in the field of Machpelah, in the cave at Machpelah, where Abraham, Isaac are buried, Sarah, Rebecca are buried there, and he says this: "There I buried Leah." Okay, Leah would not have lived a whole lot longer than Rachel did.
Yeah.
Because it was somewhere in that period of time before they came down here that he buried Leah in Machpelah.
Yep.
And Leah, for all her having been despised by her husband, for all her troubles, she is the last lady on his lips before he dies.
Yep. Yeah, I think that probably after his other wife,
Rachel.
After Rachel died, I think that perhaps there was, I don't know, a reconciliation between the two of them. Even, maybe.
I suspect so. I think there was reconciliation between Rachel and Leah. I think that probably happened around Joseph. Around Joseph being gone, and who is going to comfort Rachel?
Yeah.
I suspect it was Leah.
Yeah, I can't prove it definitively, but I definitely suspect it. So then he finishes commanding his sons. He drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last, and was gathered to his people.
Was gathered to his people. That's such a cool saying.
Yes.
He was gathered to his people. You think his people are all around him right here, but
no.
But no, there's something else going on.
The saints in heaven.
Yes. So then Joseph fell on his father's face and wept over him. This is now the third or the fourth time that he's wept publicly. So he and now Jacob gets an Egyptian embalming. It took him 40 days.
40 days to embalm him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 40s that show up.
There's a lot of 40s too.
Yeah.
Yes, 40s and 70s.
40s and 70s.
The Egyptians wept for him 70 days.
Yes. And there's a 70 right there. So there's a 40 and a 70. It's like, So now when the days of weeping were past, Joseph goes to the household of Pharaoh. So he's talking to the admin guys. And he's like, go talk to the Pharaoh. And I got to go bury my dad in Canaan.
Yeah.
And Pharaoh's like, yep, go do it. So he does it. He went. This is interesting. Verse 7. So Joseph went up to bury his father. With him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his household, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as the household of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's household. Only the children, flocks, and the herds were left in the land of Goshen. So an entire multitude comes up, including Egyptian officers, officials, and whatnot.
Like this important officials come up.
This is a big deal. They had chariots and horsemen.
Yes. And they came up to where? They come up to some place and they have this great company that's mourning the threshing floor of Atad beyond the Jordan.
Yeah, they crossed the Jordan.
Beyond the Jordan from which side, I wonder?
Egypt?
Did they cross into it or did they stay out of it?
It is beyond the Jordan.
Beyond the Jordan, if you're coming from Egypt, or if you're oriented with Egypt or with Israel as the center. Because if you're beyond the Jordan, you're out with Reuben and Gad and Manasseh across the Jordan that way.
Yeah,
that's beyond the Jordan.
Well, I think that's what they've done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, there's
Interesting.
this.
Yeah, so they
It is
buried.
named Abel Mizraim. It is beyond the Jordan.
Yeah.
And so while they are there with their big lamentation, Joseph goes with his brothers into the land and goes and buries Jacob at Machpelah.
Yeah. They basically took a small army up there.
Yeah.
So they bury his father,
Yeah.
and then they return to Egypt.
Yes. And they on their way there, they talk to one another and think, well, maybe Joseph was waiting for Dad to die before he wreaks vengeance on us because he still deserves it.
Yeah, so they send him a message. So now here's the interesting thing. They put this in their dead father's mouth, which
I don't know if he put it there.
yeah, I think they might be fudging here. So they sent a message to Joseph saying, "Your father gave this command before he died. Say to Joseph, please forgive the transgression of your brothers and their sin because they did evil to you." So they're begging for forgiveness. Now Joseph again weeps. I think he's weeping because it's like, you guys don't think I've forgiven you yet? Like, I've already done that. I think that's what's going on here. He wept when they spoke to him. They came down and fell before him. So this is, again, the third time they've prostrated themselves before him. But Joseph said to them, "Do not fear, for am I in the place of God? As for you," and this is that great line, "you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive, as they are today. So do not fear, I will provide for you and your little ones." Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Marvelous.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful verse for just generally speaking in counseling for anybody who's been through traumatic situations or great suffering, is to know that God in his good providence does work things together for good for those who love him. And even when people do things with great evil, that God uses it for good.
Yes. Yeah, and we can see that worked out in, for instance, in Levi,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Where God turns that
That wickedness.
wicked, angry, sword-bearing fellow into a fierce, sword-bearing fellow for the sake of the glory of God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because God doesn't only use that evil act for the good of Joseph, he also uses that evil act for the good of Simeon and Levi and all the brothers who were involved in that act.
Okay, so Joseph also, it takes us right down to his death in the end of chapter 50. He's 110 years old. That means that he's been leading for about 80 years. He was 30 when he was raised up to the right hand of Pharaoh. He's been leading Egypt for 80 years. Israel is now 80 years into their sojourn in Egypt, and things are still just fine.
Yep. And
They're not in slavery the whole time they're in Egypt. That happens
Later.
in the last half or so of their sojourn in Egypt when they become slaves.
And he sees the children of his son down to the third generation. And the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were also counted as Joseph's own.
Yeah.
Now he has a moment where he's about to die. I am about to die, but God will visit you and bring you up out of this land. So he's prophesying.
Yeah. Saying this is really not where we're supposed to be. God did promise us that land of Canaan.
Yeah, and so he makes the sons of Israel swear to carry his bones up from there when they go.
Right.
So they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt when he died, being 110 years old.
They swore that they would do this.
Yep.
And their sons'
Kept
carried
the oath.
it out, kept the oath.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So,
that's the...
I wanted to just
yeah,
say
do
one more
this.
thing in light of that. Hebrews 11, verse 22 says, "By faith Joseph at the end of his life made mention of the exodus of the Israelites and gave directions concerning his bones."
Yeah.
Yep.
So I preached an entire sermon on the hope of the resurrection from that verse, and
Nice.
and it's all over.
Oh, yeah.
It's all over it.
It's glorious.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Just one last thought.
Well, yeah, there's bound to be many, many more thoughts, but I think that we are done our walk through the book of Genesis. I we do commend to you, if this is the first one that you've been listening to, go back and listen through our Genesis series. We've had a great time wandering through here. There's so much good food in here. There's so much, many pictures that God gave in those days to point us forward to the Lord Jesus. And to and here, God takes this nation that he was beginning to form with Jacob, where he gives them all these sons, but it's just a family then. It's a family. But God is driving towards something else. And it's there in Egypt where God is going to take that family and make of them a nation. Okay? So there's a progression of God's intention for the world that's going on here. It's interesting that God doesn't paint the whole picture at once. He gives us visions, he gives us pictures into what he intends to have come. And so we can look at Jacob going down into Egypt, and he spends 17 blissful years in Egypt toward the end of his life, and it feels for all the world like heaven. Well, how God is able to foreshadow things that are yet to come in the stories in Genesis. I just think that's a wonderful thing, and Genesis was right full of it, and I'm sure that it won't stop once we get to Exodus.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Genesis starts with creation, but at the end we come to this picture of resurrection.
Yeah. From creation to resurrection, that encompasses the world.
The entire world.
Yeah.
Yeah, all 70 nations. So, this has been a blast.
Yes, it has. It's been a great time. Well,
Yes, absolutely.
We are the Chinook Podcast, Jamie Souls, Brad Donovan, Nathan Zeckveld, and we are delighted to be able to sit down and have conversations about the Scriptures in your presence. I hope this is valuable to you and helpful. Do listen in for more. We expect that more will be coming. So blessings to you all. I hope you all have a great day today.